Hey guys, Brandon here from Reach Home Loans, and I have some exciting news regarding a brand new 100% financing program that we at Reach are offering to you and your buyers. Now, it has a good comparison to the Hometown Heroes program, which is extremely popular right now, without the limitations set forth by the state for that program. So behind me is a Venn diagram comparing the two programs. Which is best for your buyers? Now, they're both offering 100% financing. However, like I said, Hometown Heroes has its limitations, as you already know. The most common and the most known about is going to be with the employment. You're limited, and there's a large group, but you're limited to the fields that qualify: the medical field, education field, law enforcement. However, with our 100% financing program, there's no employment requirements. You have to have a job or some sort of income, but as far as the requirements concerned, you don't have to fit into a specific mold in order to qualify for the program. Because that's one of the biggest caveats with Hometown Heroes. You have to be a quote-unquote hometown hero, but at Reach Home Loans, everyone is a hometown hero with our 100% financing program. So here's some big differences between the two. Hometown Heroes, there's an income limitation of 150% of the area median income where your buyer is purchasing the property. And that's pretty high. Most area median incomes are around 80,000. So that means you can go to 120,000 of income for the program. We want to up that just a little bit. We can go to 160% of the area median income, meaning that your buyer's income can be 160% of the area median income for that area, which means that more buyers will fit into that pool. Now, as I mentioned before, employment. You have limited options for the type of employment that would qualify for Hometown Heroes. Versus our 100% financing program, you can have any type of employment. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to be employed. You can have a fixed income and qualify for our program. Credit score, another big one. Hometown Heroes requires that the borrower have a minimum credit score of 640. With our program, the minimum credit score is only 600. Once again, creates a larger buyer pool for you to choose from and help get qualified to buy a home. Debt to income ratio. Hometown Heroes limits the debt to income ratio to 50% on both their conventional and their FHA product. And as a matter of fact, if the credit score for the buyer is below 660, that's actually limited to 45%. So this means that your buyer will qualify for less of a home than if they had a higher debt to income ratio limitation. With our program, we follow the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and FHA guidelines. So that means that the debt ratio can go as high as 50% for a conventional loan and as high as 57% for an FHA loan. And if the debt ratio is higher, it doesn't mean that we have to reduce the credit score for qualifying. It's 600 credit score across the board for the FHA product, 620 for the conventional product for our program. First-time home buyer. Hometown Heroes, I'm sure you know this, you have to be a first-time home buyer to qualify for Hometown Heroes. With our program, you do not have to be a first-time home buyer. The caveat is you have to be buying as a primary residence and you cannot own another property at the time that you close on the new property using our program. So it doesn't have to be a first-time home buyer. Huge one. Hometown Heroes. It's not a grant. It's a loan, which means it has to be repaid. And it has to be repaid in cases where the homeowner moves out of the property, sells the property, or tries to refinance the existing mortgage. At that point in time, the mortgage for the difference that they gave you for the down payment needs to be paid off. With our program, we actually offer an option where it does not require repayment, meaning it's not repayable or it's forgivable, which is huge. Hometown Heroes is not forgivable. Our program has a forgivable option. And another big one. There are some borrowers who don't qualify for the property they want on their own, and they might need a co-signer or someone who's not going to live in the property to help qualify for the mortgage. That's known as a non-occupying co-borrower. A lot of times we'll see parents doing this for their children. With Hometown Heroes, non-occupying co-borrowers are not allowed. It's not an option. With our program, a non-occupying co-borrower is allowed. So once again, we're able to turn people who were not qualified or didn't qualify with Hometown Heroes into qualified buyers more often because of this program. Now, keep in mind that these types of programs with 100% financing aren't just for buyers who don't have money. That's a common misconception. This is a great type of program for someone who might have been putting 5 to 10% down on a property, but they're utilizing all of their savings. And maybe they don't want to use all their savings. They'd like to have money left over in the bank post-closing, for a rainy day, whatever the case may be. Or you have a buyer who's purchasing a property that they might want to update the kitchen or the floors or whatever. They want to make updates. Maybe they have to replace the roof post-closing. That's a common thing nowadays. And they don't want to use their own funds or put all their own funds toward the down payment. Well, we can go 100% financing. It keeps all of their own money available so they can make those improvements after closing. So don't pigeonhole yourself into thinking it's only for people with no money. It can be used for a multitude of things. If you have more questions on this program or all the other programs we at Reach Home Loans offer, make sure to reach out to myself or my team anytime.